Hi everyone, we made it! So welcome to this section and we will learn about services. In this video, we are going to explore everything about services. Before starting with any code, you need to understand what exactly a service is and how it works and all. So let's go. First of all, many developers get confused about services, threads, and process, and which one to choose really. To talk about it as simple as possible, as soon as the application starts, the system creates a process for the application. Then a thread, which we know as UI thread or main thread, comes along with that. And all components like activities or services of your application runs inside this created process. Looks like something like these Russian dolls. What to consider? Services and other components run on the main thread unless you specify a new thread for your service. If you're doing anything that keeps your CPU working intensively or blocks operations like networking, make sure you handle your service in a new thread. For time-taking operations, you must create a new thread, and these new threads will work inside our process. If the system runs low on memory, it will shut down the process, and so all the belonging threads and components will be destroyed too. So let's get back to services. Services do not provide any interface. They do all the work in the background. How do they start working? Well, any component in the app can start the service, and it keeps running even if the user switches to another app. So it is important to keep an eye on when to stop your service. So what kind of thing they do? Imagine while using an app, you open a file, downloading and uploading a file, listening to music or things like that. That's what services do. They don't disturb you while doing other things. Almost every app that we use has services. There are three types of services: foreground, background, and bound. Foreground services. To understand it better, think of your favorite music application. It plays the music which is noticeable for you. Foreground services must display notification, but they continue running even if the user is not interacting with them. Then there is this background services. These kind of services are not directly noticeable for you, something like storing some of your data. Notice that on API 26 and higher, instead of services, you must use scheduled job. And the last one, bound services. A service is bound when an application component binds to it by calling bind service. We will learn about this function later, but now you need to know that a bound service offers a client-service interface that allows components to interact with the service, send requests, receive results, and even do so across processes with inter-process communication. A bound service runs only as long as another application component is bound to it. Multiple components can bind to the service at once, but when all of them unbind, the service destroys.